I like the clap. Hey, y'all. Welcome to episode 4 of the Rad Gamer Dad podcast.
You did it.
You did
Yay!
it. You remembered.
I remembered the episode number.
Woo!
Right? Oh my god. I don't know what it is about
hate
this
that.
week that I feel like more alive. Maybe because I actually went on my CPAP last night. I haven't been lately. I'm sorry, Doc, but I've just been passing out downstairs. And I only have one, and why? Because I've been playing games.
Final
I've been
Fantasy.
playing game.
Final
One game.
Fantasy.
Rad
What-
Gamer
Final
Dad,
Fantasy.
you are.
Yeah,
The only
yeah.
one.
We are here today to talk about not just the year in review, 2021, all hellish 365 days, right? 365 days, yeah.
Still.
Yeah, still good.
It was not a leap year.
Okay, very good. I don't keep track of those things, but looking at year in review as well as what we're excited for about 2022. I don't know. I think this year, I think with the pandemic and everything like that, I've gotten used to like people like expecting like, okay, like the Game Awards or this or that, even though I kind of hype things up. Like I know that people aren't gonna actually like say much of anything because it's just so hard to make games now. So games. What games are you guys excited about? Now, I know for me, I like to call them tentpole games, okay? So things that I'm like, I'm definitely getting this game and this game, and I kind of make a list of it because I'm like, I definitely want to put forward my best effort to finish these in a timely manner so I could talk with some. And 2021, there wasn't a whole lot of that, but I'm hoping next year there's at least a couple of them I want to talk about. I'll let some of you guys here go first and kind of see what Rob, what are you excited about for games?
In a way, I kind of do the same thing, like you said, like tent pole it, kind of pick which games for sure. You know you really want to make sure you play, and surprisingly enough, as much as the Switch doesn't do a lot for me, there's actually quite a few games out next year that I'm actually excited about. The first one in January being the new Pokemon game. I'm really excited to see how they're going to move that format and kind of make it a little bit more than just the normal. I think with Sword and Shield, they did a good job of kind of promoting what hopefully the future of the games is going to be, more open world, seeing things on the map, like not just straight up, okay, we're going to attack this thing to catch it, but actually, incorporate like dodging and baiting and trapping and like doing different things like that. I'm pretty excited about that. Triangle strategy, very Final Fantasy Tactics like, and they're the same people that did Octopath, which was an amazing game. Chocobo Racing GP, just because it's very Mario Kart in the Final Fantasy. I would personally like it better if it was on PlayStation because I know I would get more use out of it. But
You son of a bitch.
I'm still,
Crash
No,
Team
we're not
Racing.
gonna talk about
Crash
that.
Team
No,
Racing.
no,
These
no.
guys
Stop.
would
That
not
game
play
is
this.
terrible.
It is
Would
the
not
worst.
play that game,
It
and that
was-
is a good game.
It's
It was
bad
terrible.
Mario Kart.
It's not Mario Kart.
The
Well,
other
the-
one, Breath of the Wild 2, I don't really know if it's been actually slated to come out next year.
Did you see IGN reported on that like just a couple days ago?
No, I didn't.
They said the rumor is November.
November.
Yeah.
So
Rumor was also for a
Um,
Switch Pro, and that never came to light at all.
Shots fired.
but no, I haven't heard too
It's
much
true.
about it, so I don't know. I'm assuming 2022, but on the other end of it, PlayStation wise, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, I'm super excited about.
That's awesome.
Hopefully, it's better than what Borderlands 3 gave us.
Yeah.
Lego Star Wars, the complete series. That's
That
been
looks
pushed
good.
back for like 2 years.
Yeah, it is. That's crazy.
And
It's
then,
coming out in a galaxy in time. Far,
Yeah.
far
and
away.
then the Strangers of Paradise, the Final Fantasy origin story one. I'm
Excited for
I'm
that.
excited to try that one out, and then just hopefully get some more news on like Final Fantasy 16. Maybe get some more information on a new Grand Theft Auto next year. I know that's also been kind of floating in the rumor mill about, info coming. So it'd be cool to see some info on that for next year. So those are my main excitements for next year, though.
For Pokemon Legends, Arceus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that still turn-based?
I don't
It
really know.
Seems
I
like it has more
haven't-
Monster Hunter vibes
Yeah,
than
it
anything
seems
else.
like it kind of took the Monster Hunter formula where they're still battling between, you
Mm-hmm.
can still battle,
Yeah.
but it's more like I've seen videos of like them going up against a Pokemon, an example, and like they'll charge them and you got to dodge and you got to jump out of the way, and like it's more
Like real time.
human, more
Yeah.
human
Yeah.
interaction as
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it
Yes.
was turn-based, like, and they were just doing it like not. Well, it's not. It's been revealed it's not an open world anymore. It's like in sections, but those sections are probably going to be huge.
Right.
But oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I think they're really going to try to. I think they're going to take a lot of the criticisms people had with Sword and Shield's concept and like try to make it more immersive and stuff. So, but I'm sure the turn-based thing will still exist. It's just I think they're trying to twist it a little bit to add a little bit more flair to it, as opposed to just the rock paper scissors formula of
The last 20
know,
years, yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
The Arceus, that is definitely a game that I'm like in my head as a kid when I picked up Pokemon
Exactly.
Blue.
That's what you
That's what I was
envisioned.
playing, and now to have it actually on,
exactly
more
Yep.
current stuff.
It's
looks,
hard that
so
g-
sweet.
It's hard to get that magic though anymore.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get that magic.
Yeah, I'm playing Diamond right now, and it's hard to get through it. Like the remake that just came out.
Yeah,
last month.
okay.
It's like I'm struggling to get through it because
Yeah.
it's so dated. Even
Yeah, they
though
didn't
looks
update it that
modern,
much, did
it's
they?
just dated.
That's too bad.
I might have to take my son and my wife Switch then. It's crazy. They have one both. I don't have one at all, and that's fine because I got too much stuff that I don't play anyways. So, anything else, Rob?
No, that pretty much covers my anticipations for next year.
Luke, what you got for us?
Elden Ring. We already know
Oh,
that.
If you
Yeah.
don't say Elden Ring, you're wrong.
Yeah.
It's got to be the first one I mentioned. So it's the next game by From Software, who developed all the Dark Souls games and Bloodborne and Sekiro, and I'm just expecting this to be their pinnacle of their game creation. So it looks like it's going to be, just everything that they've learned they're going to put into this. I'm hoping that multiplayer will really be refined over all the games that they've been able to do that with. Yeah, that's going to be an awesome one. Silk Song, I think, is coming out. There's been a lot of like speculation as to when that should release, but that is the follow-up sequel to Hollow Knight, and Hollow Knight has been a hell of a game. A Metroidvania, in kind of a bug universe, and
It's very pretty.
yeah, it's the visuals are amazing. The gameplay mechanics are great, very challenging. It's got a very deep world with a lot of lore and a lot of narration. That's been one of my favorite games in the past couple of years, I would say. Another one too is God of War. That's
Oh yeah.
gonna be a big one.
Oh my god.
Were you excited or slightly like I don't know, like disappointed would be hard to say when they announced that this is the second half of the story?
I was shocked by that, and I
Yeah?
feel like that's why they did it, because most games are told in trilogies now, and usually when you get those epic games, it is a trilogy, but they're breaking that mold, and I like that. At first I was like, oh, I want another one, but I was like, no, this is gonna be great. Like, we're gonna get all of that, just everything they're gonna pack into this is gonna be a lot. I think it would be, the expectation will be the content of 2 more games in one game. So I very much look forward to seeing how they're going to tell the story in a different format.
What's exciting about that though is too that they're announcing that, hey, this is second one and then that's done. You know that they have more ideas.
Yeah.
Like that they have more
Kratos
ideas.
fights Jesus.
I'm there for that.
Are gonna be so angry.
We
Oh
fight
my
Jesus.
God.
We fight Satan. Then we fight Jesus. We take over all of hell and earth and heaven. We win.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, that is great. What do you think about now it being cross-gen? Because this is a pretty late game to be coming out as
I know.
cross-gen, like 4 and 5. Do you think that they're gonna make some meaningful like steps to make the PS5 one be like, hey, this is the good one, or
I feel like because PS5s are so scarce still, and I think the targeted crowd, I think the majority of people playing this will probably be PS4 users over PS5.
Mhm.
I think the biggest differences would be it would look better, as well as the load times would be shorter, or the gameplay would be smoother. But I don't foresee too much of a difference between those two. Maybe some quality of life improvements, but not much else.
Yeah, that was the term I was going to use was quality of life because I just switched from a PS4 to a PS5, and literally with every game, it's just a little tighter. Like there's the load times are dramatically different, and the graphical fidelity is always a little better, especially if it's coming from PS4 to PS5. Even if the team did do like an actual upgrade, right? Everything's just a little smoother and prettier, and so I would expect with God of War, there's going to be a pretty stark difference. And maybe if there wasn't the shortage of microchips, not sure if you guys heard about COVID, but
What's tell me more.
That might have been one of the games that you try to like linchpin and get people to move over. But the systems are still pretty close. Like the PS4 does such a great job of, gaming in the current gen. I feel like it'd be wrong to leave a lot of people behind. So I would expect
For sure.
2022 and 2023, a lot of things I would still think would release in both,
I think so too.
I hope so.
And that's a little bit of a worrying thought because as we all saw from Cyberpunk,
I was just going to bring that up.
yeah,
too.
that like when they tried to make that cross generation and it just did not happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
it's like if you don't have like the most current PS4 on the market, it's just not going to work for you. And that's what I was going to say, kind of chime in about the concept with God of War is, I feel like even in history in itself, when they try to do those things, it's like, well, we're going to develop it for this system and then we're going to dumb it down so it works on that system, or develop it on this older system, but then try to perk it up for the newer one. And it just kind of never seemed to flow very well. So that would be my thing, would be like, yeah, you're going to alienate a large market if you decide to just be like, well, we're just going to release it on the PS5 and, forget the PS4 customers, but I haven't heard a lot about any issues lately with those like upgrades, because almost every PS4 game has a PS5 upgrade to it, and I've never been one to, I can obviously see stark differences when they exist, but then there's also the times when I'm like, I don't really see a big difference between the two, like Borderlands 3, for example, on PS4 looked great, but on the 5, it just looked, like you said, sharper. Like the cell shading lines are a little darker and blacker, and you can see, that they're trying to still keep that comic book feel.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as long as it just doesn't lose anything in the process or cause a cyberpunk issue where it's like, it works great on this system, but it's gonna run like dog shit on this one. It's like, well,
I think it's growing pains though too. I mean, like that transition, and what's crazy is these new systems now too, and even with the older systems or any of the future ones, they're all just based off of PCs anyways.
Yep.
So what's crazy is that I've got a pretty, I would say, low, maybe mid-end PC, probably in between those two. But I can run Baldur's Gate 3 at 1080p and 30 frames per second, which did not think I could do that on something like that. So like the ranges of where these things, so like PS5 will be, 1080 or 4K at 60, well, probably 4K at 60 frames per second or whatever. Some games 120. Whereas on the PS4, you're going to hit maybe 30 frames per second, 1080. So it's just going to, and then the loading times are faster and how they kind of do that stuff. So you'll be able to have the same games, hopefully, if that you can kind of figure out, exactly how these systems work and develop for them and whatnot. So
have a balance between the two.
I think that's why we've probably seen so many more cross-gen games, I feel like anyways this year, than we have almost any other year.
Yeah. To me, that's twofold. One, Xbox doing such an awesome job creating a back catalog, right? And just, bringing pretty much everything that they've ever made available to people. I think that's put some pressure on Sony to be like, hey, you kind of got to like keep at least the last generation really around. And two, a lot of the games that were awesome on the PS4, right? The system selling games, they started on PS4. And so now they're coming to this. So it's like, you're going to start with God of War on PS4 and then just hard stop all those people and be like, yeah, you can't read the second half of the story until you get the next gen. Like,
that's kind of what
Don't
the
do 'em
thinking
like
was,
that.
I think.
and so it's also built on technology that was designed for PS4. So I do think it's easier for them to carry over. They're not starting with a whole new like game system, you know,
Yeah.
For
like
sure.
new game mechanics on a different system. So
Yeah, they'll be curious just to see how games develop in the next couple of years when we finally transition over to next gen, and it'll be interesting to see how that will extend the life of the next generation of systems and when we will actually see games at their full capabilities with these systems. I think we got a while until then.
Oh yeah,
I
I mean
think-
we're only
think we
into
do.
a year into the
Right.
new system life cycle, and it's usually takes 2 or 3 years before it hits that momentum of being like, we're working at full capacity here. Now it's time to upgrade to the pro model because we ran out of
Well,
ran
see,
out of power.
See, the thing is, like, I don't think the pro models, if they ever do come out with them, I think it's going to be a lot later because you've got upgradable storage.
Yeah,
You have, we haven't even got into Unreal Engine 5, which is demoed on a PS5, and Xbox Series S can do it. And they all use AMD chips for graphics, and that has an upgrade, like that's kind of like DLSS for computers. It's called X Fidelity or something like that. I don't know, but it's supposed to make things look better while it's not as demanding to run them. It's some crazy technology like that they said AMD would be able to have for all their chips, consoles, computers. So I mean that's huge. That's a big thing. But enough on that.
Yeah.
Did you would have anything
nope.
else?
I was gonna say, Ethan, what are you looking forward to next year?
Just some of the same stuff that you two have said, as well as Slime Rancher 2. I think it's coming out, and that's just like one of the few solo games that I enjoy, just because it's just very casual and it's just kind of like a time killer, I guess. And it's not even like a game that's coming out, but something that I am very excited for is the new update in Genshin Impact that's coming out because
Okay.
I mean I'm excited for all the updates. They have these things called Archeons in there, which are basically like the gods of the different areas or whatever. And they're all 5 stars, which means they're rare to get, and it's a gacha game, so it's really hard to get them. And I've gotten every single one so far without paying any money. So I'm saving up just so that I can get a ton of a ton of like all the god characters like every single time that they come out because I'm obsessed with them.
Speaking of Genshin, I just seen a thing. I think it was like last week. Is it like a spin-off they're doing with Genshin? It was like something Impact, but it was like based off the Genshin world, but it was like a different character or something. Like I didn't really read into it because I played it when it first came out and it just didn't really do it for me. But I feel like I don't know.
I think that was part of the update.
And
Like
maybe
they were
that's what it
advertising
was.
the
Maybe they
update. I
added
think.
a new character that everybody was excited about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did
Just-
add a new
They
character.
renamed it from Genshin Impact to whatever that character's name is. So, but
Yeah, because recently they added, because the newest area is Inazuma, which is a more Japanese-based area that has the like main effect of lightning or thunder. I don't remember what they call it. I think it's lightning. And they have the lightning Archeon there and stuff. And it came out in one big update, but there were still 2 islands that hadn't come out yet. One island has now finally come out in a newer update, and we're still waiting for one more island to come out during that update, so that like this area kingdom thingy will be complete.
yeah, I was just
And-
kind of like I said, I didn't read into it. I just remember seeing it, and I didn't know if you still played it. I would have just came to you to ask you. What
Yeah, I stopped playing twice already, and now this is my 3rd time starting playing again because I just recently started playing again because my friend's like, you need to play it again. They came out with a new character that's Oni in their name. You have Oni in your name on stream thing, and I'm like, I guess that's gonna freeze
You
him
should
for me
get
to get obsessed
royalties.
with it again. I should. I'm gonna sue them for using a Japanese word.
You can sue. You can sue for anything.
I mean,
Doesn't mean you'll
it's just a
win.
Japanese
Yeah.
word that means demon, so or
Oh,
ogre, so like it's not really that
Copyrighted,
copyrightable.
yeah.
But
Fair
if
enough.
they said the Oni Ryu, all lowercase with underscores in between them,
Then
I
you'd
might
have
have
a
a
problem.
case.
Shameless
Yeah.
plug.
Then I might have a case. Also, now it's on YouTube. I changed. Woo.
All right, well, YouTube gaming. Hey, for Monster Rancher, right?
Slime
Rancher.
Rancher.
Slime.
Monster Rancher.
I thought
That's a blast from the past.
no, I thought so. Yeah, they are making Slime Rancher. Oh, maybe I got my ranchers mixed up because I thought
First
that
numbers, now
I thought they
ranches.
said
I'm most familiar with Jolly Ranchers.
I thought they said Monster Rancher, and immediately my head went to, are they still gonna have that feature where you put in your CD or DVD and it
They
gives
are
you a
com-
little
they are
monster?
coming out. They are.
What, are they?
Yeah, they're.
I saw that.
I
See,
think
I
they're
wasn't
redoing
wrong.
the first two,
Yeah.
and I don't know how they're managing like the disc thing though. Like I feel like they might just be like code words you put in or something now.
You
But
have
I
to.
remember seeing a lot of people being like, "No, the whole premise was finding random discs in your house and popping them in and seeing what you get." I remember
Yeah.
I had a notebook full
Yeah.
of
Yeah, dude.
DVDs, CDs, games, like AOL discs, like whatever you could get your hand on.
It's all NFTs now, I bet. Like you
gotta
gotta
get
get the
NFTs.
monkey
The
smoking a
future.
blunt
Okay.
to get the bluntosaurus or whatever.
Okay,
like, I
those
don't
like
know.
monkey smoking a blunt thingies are the most stupid things ever. And I saw some dude on TikTok trying to
And
defend
some dudes
it.
making tons of money.
Yeah.
A
off it.
ton of money.
I saw some dudes on TikTok defending it. It's like, well, it's not just used for art and money laundering. Also, if you buy these, you get access to a mansion that the people who bought these co-bought or something. So I guess if you go a monkey smoking a blunt NFT, you get access to a blunt monkey mansion in real
mean,
life.
That
Yeah.
sounds greasy.
Or
It
something.
sounds like a whole
Yeah.
lot of I don't get it.
Yeah.
It sounds like boomer speak. Boomer speak here. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Josh, how about you for games? Unless do you have anything else, Ethan?
Same with Elden Ring for sure, and to Tiny Tina, I'm excited for those ones quite a lot. I don't keep up with the new games coming out that much, but
It's for the best.
yeah, I just kind of get excited when I'm like, oh hey, that seems interesting. I'll just get that. So
That's
I'm
the
more
best
of
way
a
to live.
I'm more of just a
Yeah.
sporadic person with purchasing games, and I've only heard about the ones that I'm excited for, just kind of like through you guys. So.
That's kinda
Sure,
what I
sure.
do.
I'm really looking forward to Elden Ring, of course. Really excited to see how they manage to take elements from the games that they've had so far, because there are patterns, and one of the patterns that they have is there's usually like the world that you fight in, right? Like the story part, some sort of like a dungeon area, and then like an upgrade area, right? And they're kind of separated. And so I'm so excited to see how they make those live together. And instead of being like, Luke saying, hey man, I'm going to go do some Chalice dungeons in Bloodborne, to just happen upon dungeons
Right.
and find out like what's inside, and then be terrified and have it kill me 50
Yeah.
times.
They're the legacy dungeons, yeah, and I think they're scattered
Yeah.
throughout
Scary.
the world, and it'll be like some will be, a throwback to places in the other games, like
Yeah. So that game as a whole, but specifically that, like, how
Mm-hmm.
are they going to bring that whole world to life? I think is really cool. Oddly enough, Tiny Tina's, because the Borderlands series, it never really like grabbed me. I'm not huge into first-person shooters.
Okay.
I don't typically play like looter shooters, right? Just to play for gear.
Mm-hmm.
But the aesthetic and the world that they built that game in looks
Mhm.
so awesome. Like that's the first Borderlands thing that I feel like the humor was for me. The other stuff I thought was a little too sophomoric.
Now I'm gonna be looking to your critique of that game if you do get into it, because I'm like in the same boat as you. I remember, God, I got the $100 edition of Borderlands 3 because I was so excited. I'm like, "Oh, this game sucks.
That's what hype does to
They
you.
did such a
I-
good job
Yeah,
of promoting that
yeah, they
game,
did.
though.
Yeah, I
had the-
know.
They had the best marketing strategy.
It
on
got
that
me
game.
hook, line, and
Yeah.
sinker right here.
I feel the same way as you guys with it. With Tiny Tina's is like the first Borderlands thing that I'm like really interested in. My only experience with Borderlands so far has been the third one.
That's sad.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
played as Zero, and he was kind of cool, I guess. But like I don't know, I beat I think I beat like the first boss, and then I got like a little bit further into it, and I'm just like, this isn't for me. I'm bored already, man. I don't like it, so I just stopped playing.
Yeah. If you want more of an idea of what Wonderlands is going to be like, play that Tiny Tina's one-shot Assault on Dragon Keep. It's the port of
that
the
one's
DLC
really good.
from Borderlands 2. It is phenomenal. Like my son and I have been kind of playing through it, and I forgot how brilliant the writing is.
Hunter
the voice
plays that
acting.
game?
Yeah, he's an FPS champ
Holy
already.
shit!
I know.
Get that kid into esports.
But-
We
but-
got an esports professional
No,
on
it
our
just
hands.
made me realize how much I loved Borderlands 2 and 1, and how, like, just like with 3, how it really strayed away from the humor and the writing and even the gameplay mechanics a bit. So I'm hoping Wonderlands will bring that back.
Assault on
Oh.
Dragon keeps only like $10 too.
It is
right?
$10.
So
Yep.
Do you
I
know?
mean-
Can you cross-play it with like the Handsome Jack collection or no?
I don't think so. I think it's a standalone
Is
thing.
it?
So yeah, I could be wrong though. So like if you're playing it on on Borderlands
Yeah,
2,
'cause that's
maybe
the
you
only
could
reason
play.
why I wouldn't buy it is 'cause
Right.
I technically already have it.
yeah.
You
Mhm.
know?
So that game for me is like an outlier. Like
Mhm.
I'm waiting for it in kind of hopeful anticipation to be like, you know what? I'll probably dive in and give this a shot, and hopefully it's awesome, and hopefully I like it.
Right.
Hearing you say Borderlands 3 is the only experience you've had in Borderlands, I know this didn't come across in the video, but that's the first time I've ever felt a collective sigh. Nobody made it happen, but there was just like a drop
Oh,
in
we're
the
so sad for
atmosphere.
you. Yeah.
Oh no.
The other game, because you guys have mentioned so many of the great ones that are coming out, but Horizon.
Yep.
The PlayStation blog is dropping some cool information, and it seems like
Really?
yeah, it seems like that game is going to do everything substantially better than it did before, and like additively better. Like they were talking about, yeah, we're gonna have like branched ability trees that will create different fight styles that you want to play with,
that's neat.
or like having a lot better like tracking enemies and AI. Like they'll no longer like try to run at you and then trip over things in the environment. Like they're going to actually like track and take paths and try to like do things of least resistance, and it was like, oh, I'm excited to see how those mechanics all come together.
Yeah, and see, like that sounds awesome, but like for me, and like you said, like if you can cater to a different play style, great. But that's why the one thing I didn't get into the first one because of like gotta set traps, gotta wait, gotta do that. Like I hated doing that. Like as much as it sucks, I'm a run and gunner. Just like in an RPG, like I'm not a mage character. I don't like doing all. It's like I would rather just go up and just hit stuff. Like that's what I want to do.
Just bonk
If you
'em,
turn
no
the
tactical stuff.
if you turn the difficulty down, you can definitely do that. Because I did with the
Anything on
first
easy
one, and
mode.
I'm just like big stick. Oh, but I don't know if you can answer me this or not. But is that game a continuation of the story, or is it kind of like you don't have to play the first one to be into the second one? Like, have you gotten any hints on that?
I would assume it's got to be some type of continuation because it's the same
Some main character,
So
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but I think they're, again, it's all conjecture because the game's not out and they haven't said anything aside
right,
from
right.
like the trailer stuff
Oh,
that
okay.
you've seen. But it looks like the first game left off on like a pretty good stop. That I would imagine that they'll at least narratively kind of like bring everybody a little up to speed.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
you know, going back and playing Horizon, it's really fun. It's a great game, especially for a new IP.
hmm
But I think Rob's right. Like, there's some stuff that you're just like, ugh, like, do I really have to like go down this rope? Like, of course I should have something that helps me parachute down, or like I have to use this trap here, and now I just have to sit there. Like, why can't I just go in? If I like to go in and go ham, and I just destroyed that thing with the giant razor jaw.
yeah,
Now I have to set all these traps for these lesser enemies. Like, why?
Yeah. yeah.
And
I
so
think
I think it
it's-
would be hard to go back and
Fair
play
enough.
it after we go forward.
Do you think maybe they do that just to be like, hey, maybe this is a thing you want to do? I feel like they shouldn't force you to do it, but like, hey, this is a thing that maybe you want to do. We're going to give you a mission to do it or something like that. Or you could tackle it a different way if you really wanted to, but here's what these things are, what they do. Because it's one thing to give you like a little gameplay video or whatever, because I see a lot of games that do this, and it's kind of nice where it shows like the ability, it'll say the ability and then give the description, but then it's got like a little video to see what it does. But like, how can you put this to practical use, in your everyday adventuring, I mean, I feel like, and just having like those quests here so it doesn't seem like super drawn out or like, oh, this is a quest type that they're going to have in the game.
Yeah.
Like, then that gets kind of, but I don't know. Anything else for games that you're
I'm gonna-
excited for 2022?
I'm gonna stick with those two. The other one thing that I'm just like really looking forward to in 2022 is I just hope people can get their hands on systems.
For sure.
I don't
Yeah.
care what
Yeah, that
one
would be
you want.
great.
Like we have such awesome games available, but literally every system, whatever one you want to play on, has some sort of a hindrance right now from people being able to experience it the way that they want to. And so that's my my one hope for 2022 is that those shortages can come to an end and we can kind of get back on track, you know, and everybody can get the Xboxes and PlayStations and OLEDs and 3080 chips that cards that they want.
Yeah.
No, if you really want to play something in higher quality, building a PC is surprisingly easier than I thought it would be.
It's
But there's still
it's-
shortages on all the materials.
for
Like
sure.
if I'm gonna build a PC, I'm gonna try to build something pretty high end because I don't want to build another one for a decade. And it's like I can't get a graphics card that would be useful.
And
for
when you
that.
can get it, it's marked up incredibly.
Huge,
Huge.
yeah.
I mean, it just I could actually sell. I only have, because I've got a low profile computer, I've got a 10 or 1650, and normally sells for like $160. What I bought it for, $160. You can sell that for 400 or 500 last time I looked.
That's
Y-
brutal,
And it
man.
wasn't even like a 20 series card or whatever, and definitely not a 30 series card. So
Wow. that's mad
Especially with that stuff, like
inflation.
gaming's already a luxury,
Mhm.
right? It's not a necessity. It's an awesome part of life, but it's so expensive and it's cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
mhm,
And just the way that it is.
right.
To have
and
more
like
so,
I
that
like seeing
sucks.
those memes. They're like spent $5,000 building a PC, and then just shows them playing like NES emulators. It's like
Fortnite had 400 frames per second. Like I
Yeah.
can't even see past 60, dude. You got me. But yeah, I guess mine would be those tentpole games, essentially. And they haven't been given a release date yet, but I have a good feeling. I'm hoping 2022. But they are Hogwarts Legacy. Give me all the information on that.
Can I throw in Callisto Protocol real quick?
Oh yeah.
We won't go down the rabbit hole, but that one's we're very very looking forward to.
I don't know what that is.
It's made by the people who made Dead Space.
Oh,
you-
oh,
And they
oh,
dropped
okay,
a game trailer of just like a guy kind of like waking up and coming out of a cell inside of a
Mhm.
spaceship, and then this real nasty looking thing, like kind of like
so
pins
essentially
him
maybe
against.
a code worded continuation of Dead Space, but they're not telling you it's Dead Space.
Maybe like a spiritual successor.
Yeah, I
Right,
think it's
right.
a spiritual successor because I think they're doing it with a whole different team and don't own the
Gotcha.
rights. But it looks very much in the vein, including having like the guy has some sort of like a bio thing that he's wearing that indicates his life. And I'm just like, oh man,
Yes,
it looks so
now
good.
I do
Sorry,
remember that.
That was
yeah.
always my favorite thing in Dead Space. is-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to rob your moment. That just
No,
popped into
no,
my
no
head.
worries. No, to chime in. That's we're having a conversation here,
Yeah.
you know. But no, Hogwarts Legacy. I love Harry Potter. It's kind of like one of the. I don't talk about it, but I really love Harry Potter. That whole movie series is amazing. I just want to learn spells.
Have you
with my
ever read the
classmates.
books?
He doesn't believe in books.
The books are better.
They are.
Yeah, they are. I've read the books. I've watched all
I
the
mean,
movies.
probably, but who's got that kind of time?
Like I
I
really
want to
like,
watch a movie. That's
I really
it.
like all of Harry Potter and stuff. I've read all the books. I've watched all the movies. Like I was super into it. And then like when I got to 7th grade, I realized all the other people who were into it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not associating with that ever again. I don't associate with those people.
Stay away from potheads.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
Stay away from the monkey blunts.
Yeah. No, I just want to be in that
Fair.
world. I want that RPG adventure. And another RPG, Final Fantasy 16. Final
Yeah.
Fantasy
Is
16.
that coming out next year?
I have a good feeling because we were supposed to actually see some information. They said, I think it was either this game or another game. We were supposed to see information yet this year, but this year's kind of very much
Yeah,
dwindling.
Yeah, I think I
done.
seen something last week that they said that they were supposed to have information about 16 before the end of the year. So it's very possible it could be coming within another week.
Yeah, and so those are the tentpole, and the reason why I'm so excited about that, I mean, it's a Final Fantasy game. Like if you're into RPGs, you're into that, but the guy, the director, who made Final Fantasy 14, is making Final Fantasy 14, is also directing Final Fantasy 16,
That's cool.
and Final Fantasy 14 is just it's gonna be next year too. It's gonna best ongoing game at the Game Awards. Thank you, Final Fantasy 14.
What is the name for the person in everybody's game group who is like the 14 evangelist? Is there a name? Have we named that
I
yet?
think it's just a
The hype man.
No,
yeah,
no,
like
I
the
think
hype-
it's just
the
it's a
hyper.
general term and it's called a simp. Will simp for Final Fantasy 14 on the daily.
Okay.
Okay. So Final Fantasy 14.
Critically
yeah,
acclaimed, right?
critically acclaimed.
Critically
Yeah,
acclaimed.
and you can't actually get the free trial because it's so popular.
Yep.
They stopped selling the game because congestion with their
wild.
servers and stuff like that. And it is honestly really good. And I talked with Rob about this earlier, and I'm like, when did you get into it? Because a couple months before that, I got back into it. And essentially, I was trying to catch up from the last 2 years or year and a half that the last expansion, Shadowbringers, was out for. And that was all of my 2021, essentially, is what I was doing with that game. And I just beat the.
Wait. I'm not allowing you to use 16 to segue to 14.
That was sneaky.
That
Yeah.
was sneaky.
But it's part of my games. My
Look
games
at
are
how-
2022. Best ongoing game. They're making.
He just steamrolled right over Josh.
They are.
You can't stop this.
Yeah,
They
you
are
got me
making
there,
in,
though.
in
You
the
got
next
me.
in the next major patch. They're actually making something called Island Sanctuary. That's kind of like a cross in between Harvest Moon and Animal Crossing for the Final Fantasy worlds.
Cool.
And they said like, hey, after you're done with your adventures, just say, come and chill at this place. You know, I mean, you're kind of. And I beat the main story, and it's. I don't use this word often. It's exquisite. It is so good. But I'm excited for the.
guarantee you in a week I'll have a different opinion.
He will.
Hot take on that.
He definitely will. But the content that they plan going forward with like Island Sanctuary, like the new raids that are coming out. New raid just dropped today. Actually, I'll probably be playing it tomorrow. But that's all exciting stuff too. The more things that they can add to that game and just make it even more robust than it already is, like you can pick your lane and kind of choose where you want to go. And as long as they keep on doing service to Final Fantasy as a brand and through this game and expanding upon it and being as good with the players as they are and respecting your time as an MMO, like I think it's the best game, even for people on like with a busy schedule, like your dad, 40-hour work week job. But like, hey, you can come and chill, and you can pick these different things that you really want to do.
Yeah, and that ongoing service I think is pretty critical to gaming going forward. I mean, as you obviously see the success that has had and how the continuing growing fan base that is accumulating. Like we've all been playing Back for Blood too, and they seem to have kind of like a roadmap too for 2022. And I'm
It's a good
actually
game.
really excited for that because
Me too.
you know
It's a fun
once
game.
once we're done with the campaign, we will hopefully have more content we'll all want to get into and play.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell I'm doing in that game, but
That's okay. Just point and shoot. That's all.
feels good. That's the
does.
point. It feels good. Like, and I don't think I never got into Left 4 Dead or anything
Yeah.
like that. So
neither.
like, it was a good game for sure.
That game, Back for Blood, is cotton candy.
Back for Blood
Yeah.
is so
It's
fun.
just
I
Pop
love
it
it.
in,
Yeah,
turn it
just
on,
go.
have fun.
Now, see, I
Yeah.
don't like cotton candy, so that's not a great
Whoa.
analogy.
Okay,
Maybe-
well,
maybe-
that
maybe-
we
maybe-
okay. We intervention here.
Yeah.
How about
Are
just
you
like beef
okay?
jerky?
Are you okay?
That game is beef jerky. It's very tough. It's very
Salty.
It's,
Kind
Salty
of
tears.
chewy sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it
Hard
makes
to
your jaw hurt.
swallow.
All right, bad
I might
analogy.
choke, yeah.
Bad analogy.
it's
So-
delicious.
So to kind of wrap this all up here, I mean, is there anything just outside of games, because that's the bread and butter is games, but like anything else, like any hardware, any other services or anything else about gaming in general
The
that you're
Steam
excited
Deck.
for? And ooh,
The Steam Deck.
Oh,
I want to see
yeah.
what that's going to
That's
be about.
cool. Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
Steam Deck.
I've never been a PC person, so I really have had no access to Steam and all of those really unique indie games that people, that developing teams create on that. And I'm hoping the Steam Deck would give me access to a lot of that, and I really like, just being able to game on the go too. That's a really nice option.
Yeah.
I think that one's right at home for you then, because like even There's a few different models, and it gets pretty expensive depending on what type, because you'll actually get like M.2 drives in there, and so they'll actually those ones are gonna go for like $600 or something like that. But like the base model that has like the least amount of storage in or whatever,
Right.
like that still would be perfect for indie games.
Yeah.
Like you like as
For
soon as they
handheld
released
gaming.
that, I almost immediately thought of you because you're talking about and really like to get into indie games, and Steam and the PC has just a ton of those
Yep.
all the time.
Yeah.
And it's you can do different things with it too. I mean, you might even I think you could play Final Fantasy 14 on it.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
I'm sure you
Yeah.
can.
Shoehorns it in there.
Always
Damn it.
trying to
Just-
get
You
it
see.
in.
Right it in
I
there.
want
All right, so I know
clap
we've
and
talked
punch
a
it.
lot about next year, 2022, but as we wrap this up here, real quick, not a lot of talking about it. Just what is your 2021 game of the year? For me personally, it was Metroid Dread.
Really?
Yes, because they just do such a great job. We haven't had a new Metroid in years.
Mhm.
You know, they obviously started the whole Metroidvania subgenre, and it's just they always seem to take that and just make it so much better. And you know, Metroidvania games are a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere. Almost every company's made one, and the gameplay's smooth. It's challenging. It makes you explore. It does all the things that Metroid has always been known for, and hopefully Dread gives Metroid some love, and we see more out of the series
Mhm.
going forward.
How about you? 2021.
I'm trying to even think. I felt like I barely played anything. I did do Bloodborne a lot, and I could always go back to that game.
You know what? Give whatever game you enjoyed the most in 2021. Shout it out.
That was what I thought people did an awesome job of, except for 14, because you already talked about it.
Oh, he's gonna again.
No, no.
We're not
I thought
done.
people did a great job in the comments on the Facebook page of being like, this was my game
Yeah.
of 2021. It's like, absolutely. I
Oh,
don't care if
yeah,
that
we wanna
game
hear what you
launched
guys
in
are playing.
2017. Like, whatever you got the most enjoyment out of in 2021.
Some people didn't get to play anything until this year that came out.
I don't care if you're playing
2017.
Roblox. Let us know.
Yeah.
You see, I absolutely hate to acknowledge it because it's like a cult that I've been indoctrinated into against my will.
Minecraft.
But no,
Final Fantasy
Genshin
14.
Impact.
Yeah.
I
fair.
I don't even like the game anymore. I just keep getting dragged back into it. I can't it's like I
So
can't
you like
escape.
it a little bit.
I can't escape the
It's a lot of
game.
angst here.
No matter how much I try to leave, I can't escape it.
It's like Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. It's become a love-hate relationship.
It strongly is. And like I want to give money to get pulls, but you get nothing in return. You get absolutely
That's
nothing.
why they
Like, it's
get so
literally-
much money.
No,
yeah.
no, literally, I think that they did a calculation to get the guaranteed 5-star on Abandoner. It takes 180 pulls, which because after every 90 pulls there is a 50% chance you have the featured character, unless you have already gotten the non-featured character on the last banner. So you'll guaranteed get the 5-star featured character after 180 pulls.
Start polling.
For every $1, you get 100 of like a special paid currency, and I think and I think it takes like $260 to be able to get a guaranteed 5-star from a banner.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're just playing the game to get a character.
But I don't pay. But if it wasn't such bad rates, I would. But why do they have such bad rates?
Because of that exact reason, because they're
Yeah.
making money. I refuse to play games like that because I cannot.
But it's so fun, and you
But
can
they-
still get the wishes. No, you can still get wishes, and you can
Oh,
still
I'm
get
sure.
pulls because whenever they go down for maintenance or anything, you get free pulls. And if you every single day you do your daily commissions, you do all the story quests. You make sure you do everything you possibly can
They
to get
gotta give you a little
achievements.
taste
Yeah.
if you're gonna pay
I'm
for
not.
the full
Yeah,
course.
I'm not gonna.
They just want that traction.
I have
Yeah.
The
no
more they bring you
idea.
Back in daily
Yep.
it shows they're
Yo.
getting players.
Yeah,
so.
I have no idea anything like about that game. I've never played it. Those are the
it's-
two things that
And
are
they're kind of both the
instantly
same.
got-
It's
I-
actually a really good game. Like I played it for a little while, but yeah, the gotcha. I got to a certain point where the gotcha mechanics were like, nah, we really kind of like heavily infer that you need to be giving us some money, and
Or,
you
well-
kind of have to feel those games out a little bit before you're just like,
Right.
dismiss it, you know.
Where's your limit on that?
Yeah, because you could get a lot of gameplay out of that without having spent
Oh,
a
yeah.
dime,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, to get my pick out of the way real quick, Final Fantasy 14. How about we got Josh and Luke here before we wrap this up?
I would say my favorite game was Kena Bridge of Spirits. I know I mentioned
yeah.
that in another one, but when I saw that game drop with its original trailer, I was like, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Dude, yeah.
And I feel like they nailed it. Not a perfect game by any means, but I thought they really delivered. And then I'm gonna have a game of future past. I keep wanting to go and play Hades, and so that's
fun.
Same here.
that's a game in 2022 that I really am planning on just being like, I'm gonna go through this game because it looks awesome.
Yeah,
I've heard the
it's a lot of fun.
story's awesome.
I've messed around with it a little bit, and it's like one of those games you can kind of jump in and play, and you don't have to like, oh, I'm doing a pretty good run right now, and you just go until it's done. I'm like, oh, I'm done, you know, and just kind of go back and forth there, and you don't feel like you have to. I mean,
No commitment.
The
You can
other-
play a
and I-
bit and move on.
I know Rob said keep it short, but one game that we missed that I'm excited for, if it comes out, KOTOR remake.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I don't-
Honestly, I just Googled,
2040.
Like,
I don't know
honestly,
what that
I
is.
did I just Googled like what's coming out next year and kind of picked from
Not
that.
on the list.
So if it's not on the list, I'm not foreseeing a 2022.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What about you, Luke?
I would say the DLC for Outer Wilds, Echoes of the Eye, was
okay.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That game is already a groundbreaking experience, and they just took everything they did with that original, the base game, and just made it better with the expansion. It's perfect.
Andy, I would say that was pretty good.
Yeah. I think we're good.
Tell the kids where to find us.
Yeah. Facebook, Rad Gamer Dads. You can come find us on there. We got a YouTube page. We'll link it, you
You
know, on there, and we'll eventually have our podcast on there as well
Yep.
too. Put that on there. But really, yeah, find us on Facebook. Look at all the crazy, wacky stuff that we put on YouTube. If that trips your trigger, it's good background stuff. A lot of it too. You know what I mean?
If you
Um,
want your daily content, you can check out my YouTube. You know,
Oh,
a
that's a good
shameless
plug-in.
plug again.
YouTube gaming over here.
The Oni Ryu. No, all lowercase underscores in between the words. You know.
Gonna need a
We
card.
don't know, and
Yeah.
we're gonna need you to put that in
I
there.
need to get a name tag. I
Yep.
need to get a nameplate that just has like the YouTube logo and then just like my channel name. That way I can just shamelessly plug it. every
Right, just like a
time.
little card
The
right
entire
there.
Yeah, I just
Well-
need a constant shameless plug.
If you get us the merch, we'll wear it too. and that's fine. But yeah, let us know what you guys were playing this past year and what you're looking forward to next year. We'd
Yeah,
love to hear.
down in the comments. But thank y'all
For
for
doing
not literally,
No,
just like that, like down, like beyond the video
You
here.
know what? And honestly, what we forgot to do at the
Down.
beginning, being that this will drop on New Year's Day, we forgot to say Happy New
Happy
Year.
New
Oh.
Year!
Woo! Man, Omicron is right around the corner. All right, what's so fucking happy about it?
Is that a new Transformers movie by Michael Bay?
Lots of explosions. Yes, lots of explosions. Hey, thank y'all. This was episode 4. We'll catch you later.
Bye.